Hello, everyone. My name is Jammal Dorsey, and I would like to welcome you to our midday download, which is an abbreviated web series we're offering to give you a concentrated amount of information within 30 minutes. Again, my name is Jammal Dorsey. I am a Senior Product Manager here at CAQH, and I work with health plans that are interested in learning more about PSV and if we have something that can help them solve their problems. Next slide, please. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get started here. Everything today will be recorded. Also, if you have any questions, please look to the right-hand side and you'll see the question panel. We will answer all questions towards the end of the actual presentation. Next slide, please. All right, who are we? If you're not familiar with CAQH, CAQH is a nonprofit alliance of health plans and health plan trade associations working collaboratively to create shared solutions to reduce the administrative burden in healthcare business processes. Our board members, which are listed above, listed here on the slide, they work with us to come up with ideas to address the pain points between providers and plans, and we come up with a technical solution that will solve those pain points. Next slide, please. All right, so let's go back in time. About 10 years ago, when Amazon really just has started. If you remember actually going through e-commerce, you would go to their website, actually make a purchase, and the shipments would tell you you have anywhere between 3 to 7 days. This is pre-Prime, so no 2 days, no wait until the last minute. So normally you would get an email saying you have 2 to 3 days, and down inside of the email itself, it would tell you the estimated ship date and the estimated delivery. So you kind of had really a 14-day window there that you had to deal with. And if everything aligned perfectly, you got it based on the initial times that they said that you would receive it. Or worst case scenario, you would get your package and it did not include everything that you actually wanted, and it was missing pieces, or better yet, the product was not what was advertised to you. So in that case there, you find yourself trying to figure out what to do, especially if it was for a birthday anniversary or a big presentation for a client, right? Without knowing this information, you were stuck to try to figure out plan B. Well, the PSV process is kind of like that. And here at CAQH, we look to address some of that. Next slide, please. Right now, you think about it, you're making inquiries through the health plan, the credential department. You have to make your inquiries to the PSV professional services that you're using, most likely a third-party vendor. And from there, you have to wait in silence. No feedback, no updates. Others are requesting information. Then the risk is the information you receive is incomplete. And so you're stuck there trying to figure out what to do next because your timeline now has increased. Next slide, please. Our primary source verification, or PSV, is an important part of the credentialing process and has turned out to be a major resource consumer for health plans. So you're constantly spending manual intervention to be able to do this part. Next slide, please. Challenges that we've identified that some credentialing verification organizations are struggling with. It gives you lack of visibility, long turnaround time, and a time-consuming manual process, and also fragmented data. Therefore, the data is not really together. So between the health plan and the outsourced PSV vendor, you're kind of left in the wind on knowing when things will be, if the information is accurate, and also you have a delay in communication. Next slide, please. The health plan communication lacks insight and is frustrating. We understand the typical PSV service provider will take your information that you supplied. They would start their process to pull inquiries, get information. But what happens when you have a question? Once you have a question, like what is the status of a specific provider, or where are we with inside of the process? That information can take up to almost 35 days before you actually receive the necessary information. This can definitely have a negative impact on your ability to resource properly, and to ensure that files are updated and meeting your commitment to your committee that has to do the final approval. So let's apply this to a real world situation. Say there is a measles breakout, and now you have to increase the roster of internal medicine physicians, hematologists, as well as dermatologists. What you have to do there is you're asked to, you're in the credentialing department, you kick off this process, a couple of days go by, and executives are now asking you for an update. They want to know what's going on with these doctors and ask you where you are. Because of how this lack of communication and lack of insight happens, you now have to turn to your service provider and ask them for this information, and you find out that that service provider has now returned that data to you to keep you informed. So now you're waiting. You're in a waiting period, which then puts your executive team in a waiting period as well, but also puts your plan membership in a waiting period, because now you can't fulfill the amount of requests from a logistics standpoint of the patients that need to be seen by the doctors, because you're in a waiting period and it just trickles down from there. So you're unable to manage expectations. Next slide, please. So CAQH solution, VeriFide. VeriFide is the latest addition to the CAQH credentialing suite of solutions. It takes the grueling task of provider data verification and improves it. What set us apart from other PSV services is one, our file accuracy and completeness, the credentialing cycle times, as well as the level of insight that our clients are given during the process. So VeriFide offers a subscription service. From there, with the subscription services, it works in two ways. One, you can request the immediate initial credentialing PSV, or two, you can request a re-credentialing. We kick off that process. We verify the data. Also, with the re-credentialing part, you can actually future date it if you need to, and move forward from there with the process, and we will auto start the process. Now, great thing about our subscription services, like many other subscription services, Netflix and some of your other applications that you use from a subscription standpoint, if it's ordering books every 30 days or toiletries, things like that, Amazon Fresh, things like that, we automatically at the 3-year mark automatically kick off the actual subscription for you, the re-credentialing for that provider. If they're still on the list and you still want them to actually be re-credentialed, we will automatically kick that off. So there's no follow-up on your part to say, oh, did we do Dr. Smith again? We automatically do that for you and remove that burden. Improved communication. Through the VeriFide portal, you're now able to actually see the timeline of your actual files. You're able to actually see the re-credential, as well as the initial credentialing orders. You also can see their spirables. You're also, the two charts you see here are charts that you're able to click on and actually deep dive into the actual data. Next slide, thank you. To improve the visibility, the user can simply just click, as mentioned here, the user will simply click the month, then drill down to the order status chart. From there, you can filter down to an actual month or date if you would like, and order status and tell what that is. And then we're also providing you the underlining orders as well. Then the great thing about it, all of this information can then be downloaded with inside of a CSV file, so then you could process it. The CSV file is like a table of contents, right? This allows you to see everything that you have laid out in a concise view where you're able to understand what's happening with each of one of your providers. So that report there that you see there on the screen then comes down in the CSV and you're able to keep track of it. Next slide, please. And let's talk about a little bit more about the improved reporting that we have. You are now able to drill down, as I said previously, into specific statuses. You're also able to go into the confirm, right? Has a provider status been confirmed? We received the information, we're moving forward. We also have the in progress, which means that we are actually pulling the information, doing the verification. You can see when the target date is. So if we're saying, well, hey, we're gonna have this done by 6/30/2019, you're able to see that and plan accordingly from a resource standpoint, as well as from the delivered complete, which is another great piece, because we might have completed this provider faster than another provider. So if you need that information, you could quickly go in, download the information, click on that provider, download that information, and move forward in your process from there. Now, next slide, please. Another great thing that we've done on the screen is on-screen ordering. Say there's a particular provider that you did last year that you need to come back and do again this year, or different scenarios that may require a provider that was not originally ordered to now want to be ordered. You can literally order the provider from right there on the screen with inside of the portal. No need to pick up the phone, no need to send an email. You're already working there. Let's go ahead and just kick off that order. So the only thing you have to do is quickly press order PSV, and it will start the process for us. And as you see here, you can also drill down to actually see the information. Say you just want to click and understand where you are in the process for a particular doctor. In this case, is Dr. Frank Smith. You are actually able to see in detail what's the process and where you are with inside of the process. We provide detailed information from date schedule to actual date in progress with that target date again, so you're aware of it and you can answer that information, those questions that are coming from management or for yourself. If you need this information, you're able to see this. And in this image here, you can see it's even more detailed information regarding the progress. Has the university's been called, the board cert has been attained, email to follow up. So you're seeing step by step where we are in the process, which again allows you to get that real-time information and report back to leadership as well as yourself of your progress and prepare for your next wave of credentialing, recredentialing, initial credentials. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about what is new, the new features. New features are great. I love doing them. We look to bring more usability to you through including new features. So the new feature here is actually coming out in September. It will, like I said, enhance your experience with VeriFide. Currently, VeriFide portal displays order status visuals related to the standard recredentialing PSV order. With the upcoming release, users can view charts in the initial credentialing and urgent recredential orders as well. Again, it's going to be the same. They're going to remain the same two visuals, but one's going to be focused on the normal recredential orders that operates on a much longer timeline. So orders are grouped by month, and then initial and urgent recredential orders, those will be grouped by weekly because there is a shorter turnaround time. Next slide, please. Okay, great. Here you can see where the timeline is spent from October to actually December. You can also see how it is broken down into a weekly increment. In the pie chart there shows, or the donut chart shows the progress and status for each and every color that represents from a legend standpoint. Next slide. Now, what you'll see here is you have the order by intake, or request date is grouped into the actual weekly progress. So as you can see there, from 11/17, it went from being green, which is delivered, to some of your actually statuses went into late. So you're aware of this. We try not to have any late delivery of anything, but it's good to know if something is going to be late ahead of time. And then also knowing what is in progress. So we provide that information to you right there in a graphic. It's easy for you to take and provide additional information to anyone else that may be asking. Next slide, please. Additionally, we allow you to drill down some more. You have a date selector. That date selector allows you to select the entire week or individual date from an intake standpoint. And as the current normal request status, the drill down by selecting a specific bar will show a group of orders within inside of that selection. Also, that information can be exported and downloaded into a CSV file. Next slide, please. Now here, under the Performance tab of the VeriFide portal, CAQH will introduce the file classification chart. The file classification chart shows the percentage of PSV files delivered, completed, incomplete, and failed by delivery month. The user can drill down to the individual month, update the adjacent donut chart. All the PSV orders in that selected month will be listed in the detail below. The file classification chart, the user can then filter the results even further by selecting a specific classification via the legend that you see there. And like the order status chart, the user can navigate to individual orders through the line items on the detailed report, which is on the right hand side. Now, with inside of the portal itself, again, if you want to order a new PSV, you are quickly able to do that. Currently, health plans can search, identify if a provider currently has a order. So you could quickly do a search. If that provider does not have a order, you can quickly order a PSV for them by entering the same information that it would require in the intake file instead of selecting the information and doing drops down. So we give you the option to just fill in the information versus you having to do an upload or anything of that nature there. You can manually fill it out and kick off that order. Next slide. And this is a representation of what that form looks like. So you could start the process. And once you start the process, you hit submit, and it will tell you there that you have successfully submitted your order for the PSV. Additional new feature is the order tracker. We will be, currently health plans will deem to use the exceptions report and the PSV status report to identify adverse situations of the PSV request. The exception status will be added to the PSV order tracker screen to flag situations where the PSV order has been rejected or are being held past the delivery due date to expiring data elements or simply late for some unavoidable reason. So again, giving you details that you can make a decision based on what you see there. You're aware of it. It's no need to call anybody and wait in silence. We're providing you this information so you can make a decision right then and there at the moment you see that. Prior to this enhancement, the health plans would need to reference either the PSV deficiency report or investigate in the delivery of the PSV full files to identify any deficiencies or conduct outreach. With the upcoming changes, the outreach and deficiency information will be made available to view, even while the PSV is still in progress. Health plans will now have the additional insight into the status of the PSV work. Again, improving your view. So you can do what you need to do on your end to ensure that your business continues to move forward as a plan, that your members are met with the services and the provider and the network that they need to ensure that they're getting the treatments that are required. And for the other tracker, currently health plans Plans must place a cancel or update request within the intake file to make any changes to existing PSV orders. Going forward, you'll be able to quickly submit a change by hitting modify. Once you hit modify, you're able to actually modify that information and update any information that is required for that PSV. So you can modify your order really quick from within inside of the actual portal. Again, keeping you in one place so that your organization is efficient in what they're trying to do. And also you're able to cancel the order. Say something happened and you need to change it, you can cancel that order and move forward from there. Now, there are some restrictions that will be there, but orders can only be changed from normal requests, and orders can only be changed if the status is scheduled or confirmed. So those are the things that will allow you to do going forward based on those two restrictions there. So as you can see, just like Amazon, we've solved the big issues with confirming a purchase, or in our case, a PSV order, providing tracking and reporting along the way as added assurance to the customer and end user. In closing, you will no longer need to be kept in the dark about your PSV activities. VeriFide coupled with partner plans like you have solved the riddle. You no longer have to sit in silence and in dark, as we said, knowing where your PSV is. You can gain detailed information directly from what's inside of VeriFide's PO portal to know exactly what's going on. So you can make a decision and be accountable for the PSV process within inside of your organization. It looks like we've reached the conclusion of our time here. Thank you for joining us. If you're interested in learning about getting the most out of VeriFide, feel free to contact me. Or if you're a current VeriFide client, reach out to your account manager for additional information regarding the new features. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jammal. Thanks.